Hi guys, I hope you're all well. Today I am doing a Ask Jordan. Ask Jordan is basically you send me your questions and I answer them. I done this on Snapchat. I've done a few Ask Jordans in the past. I don't know how many, maybe 4 or 5. But yeah, so this is Snapchat Q&A. So all my questions have come from my Snapchat fam. If you don't follow me on Snapchat, don't forget to follow me. Let's get into this. So Charlie Dunk X has said, what makeup thing are you most proud of managing to relearn again? I think at the time when I was younger, it was just my mascara because I loved mascara. I loved making my lashes look really full and long, and that was my main thing really. That was the main thing I wore when I was younger. So when I was younger, managing to do my mascara was a massive achievement for me. Most recently, it was being able to do my lashes. So it just shows that even though I managed to do my makeup after a few years, it was so gradual, that almost 12 years later, I've just been able to put lashes on. And to be honest, I tried again recently and I couldn't do it, so I need to practice and practice again because obviously I know that I have achieved it, so it will happen. And this is a really similar question here. This is from Kale's. Oh my goodness, I'm rubbish at saying your Snapchat names. It's KALEISEXX. How long did it take to relearn to do your makeup after your accident? Again, it was a really gradual process. Like, I'd be able to put like a little bit on like after a few weeks of practicing, just touching my mascara, touching my lashes with my mascara. Then I would try something else. It was so gradual that it was just a really steady process. And yeah, I mean, even now I'm still learning. Like I said, I can put lashes on, which I couldn't do a year ago. So it's all a gradual process, and I think with anything, it's just patience. Zas says, do you have intimacy issues with your partner? I do not. Having a spinal cord injury does not affect that in any way. Bas Mahan says, do you sometimes get bored of making videos? No, I don't. Sometimes I get frustrated when I can't think of an idea, but you know, I've just learned to deal with that. So I don't get bored of making videos because I love interacting with you guys. So good. I'm really loving actually doing live stream on Instagram stories. I know that's completely different to making videos, but I love interacting. I've had the same question over and over again, and a few of the people who asked are Jodie Richards, Ellie, and Alice01. Basically asking me what my favourite makeup brand is. Now I find that a really difficult question because I don't think I could have one brand in my life and just use one brand forever. But I really love makeup brands such as Makeup Forever, Anastasia Beverly Hills, Urban Decay, Too Faced. The list literally will go on forever. But they're the brands that I love the most at the moment. Holly Cole 17 has asked, what is the best thing about your injury, if there is one? If I had to look at the positives of my injury, I would say the good thing, it has made me into a stronger person, but then I could say I was probably a strong person anyway. The best thing about my injury now would be the fact that I can probably inspire other people who have similar injuries or similar struggles or just any struggle in life. I'm using my platform to inspire people, and I suppose it's related back to my injury. And yeah, sharing my story has been a really good thing about my injury. Obviously, that's not really saying that my injury is good because there isn't anything good about this. Like, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but the fact that I'm sharing it with you in a positive light, I think is a good thing. Tanya Smart 93 has asked, I was wondering if you still meditate. If you do, why do you think it's an important practice? I'm really into it, but it can be difficult making time for it on a daily basis. And I absolutely agree with that. However, I would say you can meditate anywhere. Like if you're on a busy train, you can just do breathing exercises. It doesn't necessarily have to be a guided meditation. Just being aware of your own breathing patterns is really helpful, and it's a type of meditation. I am completely honest, I don't meditate on a daily basis. I meditate when I need to these days because I don't always feel like I need to. I think it's really good, and the days that I do it, I realise how amazing it is again. I did one the other morning, not because I needed to, but because I had a bit of time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try guided meditation this morning. It was for 10 minutes, and it really made my day like a good one. If you start the day off with a meditation, I think it's really good because you're starting on a positive note. Everyone always asks me what meditations I use, and I literally don't know. I literally go onto YouTube and type in guided meditations, and loads will come up. Like, ones will say for anxiety, some will say for a positive day, some will say for self-belief, stuff like that. I just click on what is resonating with me at that moment in time and click on it. If I don't feel it, I just click off it and go on to the next one. There's no, I haven't got any apps. I would love to have an app. So if you guys know of any good guided meditation apps, then please leave me suggestions in the comments, because that would be so awesome. A lot of people have asked me if I can have children, and one of those people that have asked me is Lola F. Shu, and she said, do you want kids in the future, and can you carry it yourself, or would you use a surrogate mother? I can have children, and I can do either. I could have it naturally, I could have, a C-section, or I could have a surrogate mother. That's not something I'm thinking about right now. That is not my priority and my goals at the moment. So I do want kids in the future, but I don't know whether I'd go down the surrogate route or carry it myself. I would be able to carry it, but with health issues involved, I don't know whether I would prefer to have someone safely carry it, just because of the other issues that I may have. Pressure sores, etc. Bladder problems, etc. So it is possible, but I don't know whether it would be healthier for me to have someone else carry it. But I can have children. If I got pregnant, I'd be pregnant. Dana Hain has said, favourite body lotion. Now, I've just literally finished my favourite body lotion. I only got it in December, but I've loved it and it's all gone. And that just shows to me that I love something, because it takes me a while to use something up if I kind of like it, if that makes sense. But I use this body lotion from Kiehl's every single day since December. And I can't remember off the top of my head what it is called. That is really annoying. I think it's I tell you what, I will leave my favourite body lotion in the description bar and link it below, because honestly it's really good and it smells amazing. So yeah, check that out from Kiehl's. Georgie XX11 has said, favourite eyeshadow palette. My favourite eyeshadow palette is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. Bianca Nordi has asked, how was high school after your accident? How did you feel when you... Okay, she's asked a few questions. So high school after my accident was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I thought I would go back and everything would be normal, but I had quite bad anxiety. I found it difficult because I couldn't physically write down the answers to questions or do my work. So I ended up going home and being homeschooled after my accident. It was a difficult time when I had my accident because it was GCSE years, and so I ended up going home and just doing maths and English at home. I then went on to do college and uni, so that was all good. But high school was tricky, I think, because it was so near to when I had my accident, and a lot of people also wouldn't talk to me. It was a really awkward time. A few people have asked me favourite products. So Lani has asked me that, and Bumblebee W has asked me that, and I think a few more people did. What are my top makeup products that I can't live without? I'd say my main thing would be my Dip Brow Pomade in Taupe, and I would say Too Faced better than Sex Mascara because I haven't stopped using it, although I've just started using YSL The Shock and I bloody love it. So yeah, another product I couldn't live without would be the Too Faced Perfect Nude Perfect Lips Lip Liner. That is probably the main thing, because I use that virtually every day with any nude lipstick, and I'm almost running out. Well, I ran out of one of them and then I found another one, and it's not full either, so I need to find it again. Here's the Soaps has said, have you ever been judged on your relationship yourself and Mike have? I don't think so. Not that I recall, but to be honest, I don't really care what people think. I suppose the only time I've been really judged on it is the fact that when Mike was in the RAF, he got criticised for, being with me because he had to go away, and he couldn't go away because he had to help me, and he spoke to everyone. We spoke to doctors, we spoke to people, saying how much, he has to help me and stuff. I don't have assistants as well, but Mike does help with things too. So I need to rely on him. I can't forever rely on, my parents. So that's the only time we've been it's been judged, because they said to him basically, you knew she was in a wheelchair before you got with her. blah, 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 blah. So Mike ended up leaving the RAF, and he hasn't looked back really, because he's become his own boss and he is an online nutritionist. Georgia Ray has said, I think I said your name right, sorry if I didn't. I'm so rubbish when they're like all the names together. Thoughts on the new Becca highlighter. And the Becca highlighter I think she's on about is the new Amethyst Prismatic, or is it Prismatic Amethyst. And I really like it. It was in my most recent tutorial. It's really pink, really lovely. I haven't done this yet, but you can also use it wet and use it as like an eyeliner or an eyeshadow, or you can do it to make really editorial looks, because it's quite, yeah, I think I said it was quite robotic in my last video, but I know what I mean. It's quite dramatic and quite it's a real good one for, I think, for photo shoots and stuff like that. But it's also really nice for every day because it's nice and pink. I think it would be nice for spring. Kerry McGovern has said, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what is your goal for the next 5 years? And to be completely honest with you, I don't really set goals that far in advance. I mean, I've always wanted to write a book, but I didn't know it would happen. And you know, that's happened in a couple of months' time, so hopefully that goes well. You never know, I might have another book in 5 years' time. I don't really plan for the future that far in advance. I just hope I continue to do what I'm doing, but get more successful with it and inspire more of you. So hopefully my channel grows and so I can reach more to inspire more of you in some way, and to reach your potential. Hopefully I don't know, I just hope that I learn more and become more of, I don't know, just become more, you know? That doesn't make sense, but I know what I mean in my head. But I don't have a 5-year plan. I just live for more the moment, or live for like the next few months. Maria Lena, sorry if I said that wrong, _MHK has said, have you ever faced bullying, and for what reason? Yes, I did. When I was younger, girls were horrible to me, they hated me, they used to call me stuck up, I fell out of all my friends, and it was horrible. People just didn't like me, and I don't know why. Yeah, I would sit alone at lunchtime, I would hate going into school. It was horrible. It's a horrible time, especially because a lot of the girls fell out with all my friends, and it was for no apparent reason. And it was kind of like everyone became sheep, and when one person hated me, everyone would hate me, and I would have no one to talk to. But yeah, I was always that girl that always got called stuck up. So I would look forward when I would walk in the canteen. I would look straight ahead and look at the clock and walk. So, you know, I didn't have to look at anyone. But that is the times when I'd get called stuck up. I think people thought I had my head high in the air because I was like, but it was because I was trying to concentrate on something, because I was so like nervous to walk past them, and I sound so silly, but yeah. There's more about that in my book actually, which comes out in May. Oh, and she's also asked, will my book be published in Greece? I'm not 100% sure how that works. I know that you can order it off of amazon.co.uk anywhere in the world. So yeah, you can get it off of Amazon. Hoppers G, or Hoppers G, I'm not sure, has said, for those who would like to start a YouTube channel, what are the do's and don'ts? The do's and don'ts, I would say, don't try and be like anyone else. Try and be like you, just be yourself. Don't do things that aren't true to yourself. Always be honest, and try and forget about the camera. Pretend you actually are talking to people. It is hard. But I just think the only thing I'd say don't do is don't try and be like anyone else, and don't do things that don't resonate with you. What else? And what was the hardest thing about YouTube when you first started? To be honest, I was so like unsure what YouTube was. I used my webcam. I just thought, oh, I'll do these nice little videos. And I wasn't really myself at the time because I just got out of depression, and I was really away with the fairies because I meditate non-stop. And in my videos, you'll look back, and I was so unconfident. I was a lot younger. I was like 20, and I sound like, hi guys, and that is so not me. But I think now I've got the complete right balance where I'm completely myself on camera. And it was difficult at the time, I think, because obviously I was in a bad place and I had just got out of that bad place, so I was really trying hard to be this positive person. But yeah, so you said what was the hardest thing? But yeah, I didn't really think anyone was really watching it. I was kind of doing it for myself and the small little community of like positive people online that I had connected with. So I didn't feel like there was anything hard about it. I feel like the hardest thing about when you start doing it properly, like and realising you're doing it, is just trying to be not nervous in front of the camera and be able to talk in the way that you talk in real life. It's a bit like sometimes you put on a phone voice, but you need to stop doing that. But I think you grow with that and you start to realise, people like you for you. So Honey Badger Fish has said, how did you build the confidence to be able to date guys? I have the same injury as you, and I've been wanting to ask a guy out, but I'm nervous about my disability getting in the way. How did you tell Mike about your disability? Okay, so to be honest, I was never interested in really finding anyone. I was just having fun with my friends. But I was never scared to meet anyone. I think because I was younger then, I sort of had a little less worry. I don't know. But I just sort of thought, if someone likes me, they like me. I'm still Jordan. I'm still a woman. I just was quite confident in that situation because I didn't care. And I think I wasn't too bothered if I'd meet anyone at that point in my life. But Mike came along and it was just natural. How did I tell Mike about my injury? I think my injury is pretty obvious. I remember on one of the first nights, well not the first night, but one of the nights nearer to when we got together, it was the first night we just sat on our own in the club. And I asked him to pass me my drink and he said to me, get it yourself. Charming. He was drunk. And I was like, I can't because I can't move my hands. And he was like, oh, okay, sorry. And he passed it to me. With other stuff, it just all came naturally. And once you get to know someone, you just need to know if you can trust them. I think you just need to get to know someone first. And, I would meet Mike out, sometimes, and he would come around my house sometimes. And, you don't have to go through the ins and outs when you just meet someone. You can just see if you get along. And if the chair scares someone off, then they're not even worth it because at the end of the day, So if you're just talking with someone, if you're talking to this guy, he obviously is interested in you, don't let your disability get in the way. You're only going to be back to where you were if you ask the guy out or if you try and go somewhere with it. Because if you are just worried about it, you never know where it could lead, but that could lead to better things. But if he is not interested, then you're only going to be back to where you started. So there's nothing to really hold you back because we're going to have one life. Just go for it. I would. Emma Webber has asked a really similar question and has said, as women, we have a lot of insecurities and it's hard learning to love yourself and be confident. How did you find self-love and confidence despite your disability? It's something I'm finding impossible and would love to hear your advice. I suppose that's quite similar. It's not exactly the same actually. It is hard, but I feel like doing things that you like to make yourself feel nice, like wearing nice clothes. I like putting makeup on. I like it if someone could do my hair for me. And it just all adds to the confidence inside because the exterior sometimes makes you feel good. So if your exterior is the way you want it to be, I sometimes think that makes you just feel good and feel more confident. So, but nowadays, because I do my videos online where I have no makeup on, I feel confident even when I do feel my worst, if that makes sense. I just think you grow with that, and I feel like, I don't know how old you are, but I feel like I'm getting more confident as I'm getting older. And to be honest, talking online a lot has helped me gain confidence. I wasn't always really confident. I was confident, in fact, like I said, I didn't care what people thought so much, like guys thought so much about my injury and stuff like that, but you can feel unconfident. I feel unconfident in different ways. I'm not the most confident person, I'm not the loudest person you'll ever meet. I'm quite quiet, really. But yeah, I just think you grow with confidence, and it is hard, but I just think you've just sometimes just got to man up a little bit and just be like, this is what it is. I either can be really pissed off about it, or I can just be me, and even though I'm in a wheelchair, I'm still me, if that makes sense. Diana, it's spelled Diana. Favourite clothing brand? I buy a lot of my clothes off of ASOS. I like ASOS because they have so many different brands. This is from ASOS actually. I think this top is beautiful, but it's not ASOS brand, so it's nice to find all different brands that you wouldn't necessarily find on the high street. Kylie PHX has said, what did you do for work before YouTube? Well, I've been on YouTube since 2010, so 7 years. but I didn't see it as like a job. I did try and do a clothing business before, an online vintage shop called Vintage Bones, but that flopped. I don't think my heart was in it as much, and I didn't really know what to do. I wasn't very business minded in that sense, but I gave it a try, and I really thought it would go somewhere, but it didn't. But I think this is where my heart lies, and I really like inspiring people more than selling clothes. So yeah, I did that. But before that, I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. I remember thinking that I would never be able to do anything because of my disability. It's funny how you change, because I literally felt like, who would ever employ me? Who would hire me? What would be the point? Would I be able to do the things that people want me to do? But now that I can work for myself, I'm so happy. Kaya Cosgrove 200. Hiya, I see you all the time on Twitter. As said, advice for making new friends. I have a disability and find it hard to. I think it's really difficult to make new friends. I think you're quite young though, so you're at school, right? I think it's hard to make new friends when you're an adult because it's hard to come across new people. But when you're at school, I would just talk to people, because I think people, looking back when I went to school, it was difficult because people stopped talking to me. I think people are scared of disability sometimes, and they're ignorant. So I think once you start talking to someone and they begin to understand that, you know, you are just like them, then it's fine. I think you just got to go out your comfort zone and sometimes be the first person to talk, because I think people can be a little bit scared. But just always remember that you are incredible. You're no different to anyone else. You just have this extra struggle in life, and it will make you a stronger person. I know it's sometimes rubbish, but just know that you can make new friends. You just need the right people. And to be honest, I've learned in the past few months really that with friendships, it's quality over quantity every single time. If you have one good friend, that's all that matters, because loyalty is the most important thing. And if there's people that don't want to be your friend because of your disability, you don't want them in your life anyway. Cindy Pooh has said, what do you have to say to anybody that says mean comments to you? Well, to be honest, they can just, I haven't got time for them. And I also think people who say mean comments, they have an underlying issue themselves, because you don't just be mean to someone for the sake of it. The fact that you've come onto my video or my picture or my live stream to be mean says something more about you, because what are you coming on here for? You don't have to watch my videos, you don't have to follow me. You could just ignore me and live your life and be happy, but you have to say mean things. There's something there. So sometimes I really want to write a comment back, but sometimes I just delete the comment, because it's just sometimes some people want a reaction. And finally, Michaela has said, how is it living with paralysis? Do you have some independence? Living with paralysis is pretty difficult. It is like a 24/7 job in a way. The fact that I have to have 24/7 care, I've always got someone around, and that can be difficult at times. It can be challenging. Living with paralysis is hard, but it doesn't mean life is over, because that is a choice that you can make. You can decide that paralysis can beat you, and you can just sit in bed all day and be depressed and down and just cry about it, or you could think, right, that's crap, but I can still do stuff. And I'm trying to prove that to you guys, that you can still do stuff. You know, there are so many issues, there's so many things around, like, it's difficult, it is difficult, but I have a choice and I choose to live a good life. I have down days, don't get me wrong, obviously I have down days. But do I have some independence? I would say physically, not really, but things like doing my makeup, having my blog, having my YouTube channel, being me and being my own person is my independence. I have a voice, and I think that's the most powerful thing you can have, a voice. So on that note, I will leave my Q&A there. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. I really enjoy doing these Q&As because I think it is quite insightful for you guys and for me I sort of start learning more things about myself, because I don't know how I'm going to answer the questions. I literally type these questions up and haven't really looked at them because I haven't had time, I've been so busy. So yeah, I really hope this was helpful. If you'd like to see more Q&As, let me know. I'll leave previous Q&As in the description bar along with that body lotion. I'll remember that. I'll put the link to that body lotion that I like. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me all on social. I'll put that in the description bar below. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your questions, and I will speak to you soon. I hope you have an amazing day.